Good morning, everybody. It's good to be back with you this morning to continue our learning Dhamma in English. Today, I would like to speak on the remaining truths we discussed in our last meeting on the first and second noble truth. Today, we will discuss the third and the fourth noble truth. What is the first noble truth?
Dukkha Satya.
Dukkha Satya. In English?
Truth of the suffering.
The noble truth of suffering. And what is the second noble truth?
Dukkha Samudaya.
Dukkha Samudaya Satya. In English?
Cause for suffering.
The cause of suffering. The noble cause of suffering. Or the noble truth of the cause of suffering. Very good. So today we are learning the third noble truth. Does anybody know what is the third noble truth? The cessation of suffering, the cessation of dukkha. In Pali, we call it Nirodha Arya Satya. And when we talk about the cessation of dukkha, we talk about Nibbana or Nirvana. So what is the third noble truth? It is the attainment of Nibbana. And Nibbana or Nirvana simply means enlightenment, awakening. Enlightenment or awakening, both means Nirvana or Nibbana. And so Nibbana or enlightened means someone who has completely get rid of the negative dhammas such as greed, anger, and delusion. We call them lobha, dosa, and moha in Pali. So again, Nibbana means the complete extinction of greed, anger, and delusion. Extinction kyaane nati kirima. Nati kirima. Complete sampurnenma. Complete extinction kyaane sampurnena nati kirima. Monwada greed, anger, and delusion. Lobha, dosa, moha. Someone who has uprooted sahamulinma nati kalakena. Someone who has uprooted greed, anger, and delusion, we call that person is enlightened. Enlightened. What are these three negative dhammas? They are called akusala mula, unwholesome roots. All the unwholesome, whether it's words, actions, or thoughts, they all are coming from these three unwholesome roots. They are the roots. And so as long as there are roots, there is every possibility to have a stem, a plant, become a tree, right? So if there are no roots, you cannot have a plant or tree. It dies. And so enlightened person is someone who has cut off all the roots, negative roots. And so this person is fully enlightened, no more negative dhammas. So the third noble truth, when these unwholesome roots are absent from our mind, we are free from dukkha, which means we experience sukha or happiness, right? Sukha. And so in Pali, Buddha said, Nibbanang paramang sukhang. Enlightenment is the highest happiness. So Buddha said in the first noble truth, there is dukkha. The second noble truth, Buddha said there's a reason, the cause for the dukkha, which is the craving, tanha. And the third noble truth, Buddha said, you can be free from dukkha. You can experience sukha, happiness. You can experience enlightenment. So Nibbana means, again, freedom from freedom. Oops. Freedom from dukkha, suffering. Right? And so the third noble truth promises us that there is a way out. Third noble truth promises that there is a way out. Way out from what? Way out from suffering. So that is the goal. Nibbana Satchikiriyaya. We live a monk life or nun's life for the realization of Nibbana, the highest happiness. Right? When we do a puja, offering, chanting, we say, Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana patya. Right? May the merits that we acquired from doing good activity, wholesome activity, be helpful to reach the goal of enlightenment, avoiding bad friends and associating good friends. May we reach the goal of enlightenment. But can you reach the goal of enlightenment just by wishing? No, that's why Buddha said you need to practice. So freedom from dukkha is the noble truth because it is achieved by the Buddha and many other monks and nuns who dedicated their life to the practice of Dhamma. And so the goal of enlightenment is something that Buddha achieved. He reached the state of enlightenment. All the monks, nuns who dedicated their life towards the Dhamma, they all reached this goal of enlightenment and they all express happiness. And so it is the noble truth of the cessation of dukkha. Once who reached the goal of enlightenment, this person is completely free from dukkha because this person does not experience the birth and death again no more. This is the last birth. So for that goal, we need to practice the path. The fourth noble truth is the path. What is that path? The Noble Eightfold Path. Why it is called Noble Eightfold Path? Because it has 8 factors. 8 factors to be developed. So it's a practice. It's something we need to practice in our life. Maganathangiko Setto in Dhammapada, Buddha said, among many paths, a path with 8 factors is the best and the noblest path. There are many paths in the world, but the Noble Eightfold Path is the best and noblest path because it leads, it takes us to the goal of enlightenment. And so whoever walks on this path, as the Buddha has explained, that person ends up becoming a noble person, Arya Sangha. That is why this path is called the noble path. Why it is called noble path? Whoever practices this path becomes a noble person. So there are 8 factors, as we just said. So can you read for me, please?
Right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration.
Very good. So there are 8 factors. 8 factors to be developed. Now, these 8 factors can be divided into 3 categories. 3 categories. One category is called Sila or morality. And then there's another one called meditation, Samadhi. And last one is wisdom, Panya. So we call it Sila, Samadhi, Panya. 3 categories. So in morality category, which one comes under? Which one comes?
Right speech,
Right speech, right action,
right livelihood.
right livelihood. Very good. So these 3 comes under Sila, morality. How about meditation?
Right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration.
Very good. So right concentration, right mindfulness, right effort comes under meditation. And wisdom?
Right understanding, right intention.
Very good. So 2 factors goes under the category of wisdom, and 3 under the meditation, and 3 under the morality. Very good. So there are 8 factors and 3 categories on the noble path. So first one, right understanding from the category of wisdom. So what does right understanding mean? In simplest term, it is to have a proper understanding about right and wrong, or good and bad, wholesome or unwholesome, kusala kamma and akusala kamma. So we need to have a proper understanding of kusala kamma and akusala kamma. So any action, whether it's word or deed, is, if it is beneficial to you or others, then it is wholesome karma or good karma, and one should do that action. So if any action that is beneficial to you and others, then it is a good action. And if it is not beneficial to you or others, one should avoid, because it is wrong, it is harmful, it is not beneficial. So like that, you have to have this simple understanding of good and bad, good karma and bad karma. But in the deeper level, you need to have right understanding about the Four Noble Truths. So in the explanation of Samadhi, Buddha said, Samadhi or right understanding means understanding the Four Noble Truths, the Noble Truth of dukkha, the cause, the cessation, and the path leading to the cessation of dukkha. One who has proper understanding and realization. And that is why this Dhamma need to be practiced. So what do we need to do to have a right understanding about Four Noble Truths? Reflect and learn. First, we need to learn about the Four Noble Truths. Learning, Suttamaya Panya. I hope you all remember this from our past meetings. There are three learnings, three wisdoms. Suttamaya Panya, you need to study, you need to read books on the Four Noble Truths. You need to listen the Dhamma talks on Four Noble Truths. You need to discuss with your friends about Four Noble Truths. And so you need to be very familiar about this doctrine, this teaching of the Buddha. And then second step is you need to reflect upon, think. You need to think about this noble truth. That is called Chintamaya Panya. Thinking. First learning and then thinking. You need to think about this truth. How this truth is applicable to my experience. Until we experience and realize in our own experience, then this truth is not a noble truth. So for that, you need to contemplate until one fully understand. That means contemplate means meditate. Bhavanamaya Panya or experiential wisdom. So there are three types of wisdom. Learning wisdom, which you learn from books and listening to others. Then you develop wisdom by thinking about this teaching, how true it is, how accurate it is, how practical this teaching is. You reflect upon this. And then you contemplate, you meditate, you practice meditation, and you experience the dukkha, the pain in the body, the pain in the mind. You experience the cause of this experience of pain. Like that, you reflect upon, you meditate upon these Four Noble Truths. Only then you will have a right understanding. So right understanding requires three things to be done: learn, reflect, and meditate. So learn, reflect, and meditate. So meditation, bhavana, is very essential. Because of this reason, we need to practice meditation, calming the mind, watching the breath, meditating on metta bhavana. All these helps to understand the teachings of the Buddha. Then the second one, the second factor is called Samma Sankappa, right intention, or right thoughts, right thought, right thinking, right? So according to the Buddha's teaching, our thought or intention must be pure, clean, right? In Dhammapada, Buddha said, Manasache paduttena bhasati va karoti va tato nang dukkhamanveti. Right? If we speak and act with impure intention, we experience dukkha. Or on the other hand, Manasache pasannena bhasati va karoti va. If we speak or act with pure intention, we experience sukha. So that is the cause and effect, the law of cause and effect. If you have good intention, you will have good results. You experience happiness. If you have bad intention and you say something, you do something, you experience dukkha. And so our thoughts or our intention is pure only when our thoughts are loving, harmless, and free from attachment. So there are three things to be considered: loving, we call it avyapada sankappa. Our thoughts are free from ill will. We call it ill will. The opposite of ill will is goodwill. Wishing good thoughts, thinking good thoughts about everybody. So you wish well-being towards others. You say, may the triple gem bless you. That's a goodwill. Or if someone say, may you experience accident on the road, that is ill will, wishing bad thoughts. And so your thoughts can be pure only when your thoughts are loving, metta. Then harmless, avihingsa sankappa, harmless, free from harm, free from violence. So harmless and free from attachment, we call it nekkhamma sankappa. Your mind, your thoughts are free from attachments. Nekkhamma means let go, give up, opposite of attachments. And so when your thoughts are loving, harmless, and free from attachment, then it is pure thought, pure intention, right intention. And that is why we practice meditation on metta, loving kindness meditation, to bring about loving nature in our mind. That means loving thoughts. We need to develop loving kindness in order to have a loving mind. Maitri sita pawatwaganna, met sita wadannata ona. We need to practice and cultivate it. And so when you develop metta, you will have selfless love. You will have compassion, karuna. You will have altruistic joy, mudita, towards other beings. So that is right intention. Third one, or third factor is called right speech. Samma vacha. So what is right speech? Right speech is speech which is free from lying, musawada, pisuna vacha, slandering, or malicious or backstabbing. Pisuna vacha, can you explain what pisuna vacha mean? Backstabbing. In front of you, they say, oh, you are so nice, you are so good. Behind your back, they say, oh, that person is not good. That person does it, it's not good person. So they say bad things about you behind your back. We call it backstabbing. කොටවනෝ කියන්නේ නේද? යාළු, right? කොටවනෝ, right? Is that the right word to say? You break the friendship of two people saying bad things or untrue things about them. We have many people who do these things in the society, right? They say things which are not true so that people's friendship is broken. So backstabbing, malicious, slanderous, and then parusa vacha, harsh, impolite, not gentle, not friendly speech, bad speech, bad words, nasty words, trash words. People use very often nowadays. But if it is harmful, hurtful, not beneficial, then it is not the right speech. Then the last one is gossiping. We call it sampapalapa. Ohe kata karano, just talk and talk, no meaning. It does not help you or the listener. You just talk about this person's hair, talk about this person's dress, talks about what this person eat, what they say, just gossip. And so these are, so if your speech is free from these 4 types of speeches, then that is right speech. So what is the opposite of this speech? Lying. Then you speak truthful word, right? Then instead of backstabbing, what do you say? You use words, harmonious word. That unites friendship. යාළුකම පවත්වා ගන්න පුළුවන් වචන භාවිතා කරනවා. Using words that will harmonize the friendship, not break the friendship. And then speaking polite words, kind words, so that it heals others' heart. Because words are like swords. If your words are impolite, harsh, it can hurt somebody's feeling. So you use kind words, polite words, so that it moves their hearts, it melts their hearts. Then last one is, instead of gossiping, you talk about Dhamma. Dharma ගැන සාකච්ඡා කරනවා. So because it is meaningful to you and others. So these are called the right speech. You speak truth, you speak harmonious words, you speak polite words, and you talk about Dhamma. They are called the right speech. Then right action, Samma Kammanta. What is right action? Right action is an action free from killing or harming other beings. Panatipata, free from panatipata. Then free from adinadana, not taking what's not given, and free from kame sumichachara. If your action is free from harming or killing or not stealing or not sexual or sensual misconduct, then your action is right action. So instead of harming beings, what do? We show compassion, we show care for the well-being of others. And instead of taking what's not given, we respect others' belongings, right? We respect others' property. You know, people may have more, but we respect their rights of owning wealth, property, whatever they have. We do not feel to snatch or rob it. So no robbery, no snatching, or no stealing. That is right action. You avoid from taking what is not yours. That is called right action. And then no sexual or sensual misconduct, which means you do not misbehave with anybody. You respect others. You respect others' space, others' body. And so you be very morally good and control one's senses. Senses mean eye is a sense, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. So they're all called senses, 6 ayatanas. You control your senses. Buddha said, Kayena sangvaro sadhu. It is good to control your body because body is a sense. Vachaya sangvaro sadhu. You control your speech, right? You control your mind. Then the 4th one is called Samma Ajiva. Samma Ajiva, right? Livelihood. Livelihood. So one should earn one's living through right way. Tamang jivatwena karna rakyawa honda rakyawak wennon. It means one should earn legally, nityankula vennatona, peacefully, santa bhavati innatona, without any violence. Api karna kriyave violence tiyen ba. No violence, no harming, no suffering to others. Because of our job, there should not be any suffering to other beings. And you should do your job with honesty and free from deceit. It means one chawa karan hodane. So Buddha also said there are 5 jobs. 5 jobs, rasawa, you should avoid. Dealing with weapons, ayuddha rasawa, you should not do it. Why we should not do that? Because it hurts, it brings suffering to others. Because they use weapons in the war, in the fights, to kill others, to hurt others. That's why one should not do the job in dealing with weapon. Then trade of slavery or prostitution, das bhava, or minusu das bhavata trade kirima, trading slaves, prostitution is another job to be avoided. And then 3rd one is butchery or trade in slaughtering killing animals to sell. You avoid that too, because you will have to kill animals. So you see, in all these jobs, you are hurting others. Then poison, visa. You should not work when you have to deal with poison. Intoxicants mean bima, way minusu bonni, arokku bonni, alcohol, right? Alcohol all falls into intoxicants. When people are intoxicated by alcohol, what happens? They lose senses, they hurt others, they harm others, they drive the car and hit others, right? Because they lose the sensibility. See here, nativenawa. So all these 5 jobs hurts others, harms others, kills others. So that is why it is to be avoided. Then right effort, samma viriya. Samma viriya. So there are 4 types of samma viriya. When we get up from our bed, we need effort to wash our face, brush our teeth, make our bed, clean the room, go out and clean the yard. So every action requires effort. Virya, every action requires effort. But here, Buddha is talking about right effort, samma virya. And samma virya is always related to our spiritual practice. And so, first one, we need to put effort to abandon unwholesome states of mind. For example, panchanivarana, the 5 hindrances, or lobha, dosa, moha. All these are unwholesome states of mind. You need to abandon. Abandon kyanne paha karannata ona. We need to get rid of. You need to eradicate. Ain karannata ona. From where? From our mind. Because we know when our mind is controlled by greed, anger, and delusion, we commit unwholesome action. We say unwholesome words. We perform unwholesome actions because our intention is impure. So we need to put effort to abandon unwholesome states of mind. Then prevent. Prevent mean I in den natuwa tiagan ona. We need to prevent prevent mean walakwanatona. Prevent mean walakwanatona. From arising unborn unwholesome states. Alut akusal situvili ennata walakwanatona. We need to prevent from arising unwholesome states. Then cultivate wholesome states. We need to put effort to cultivate. Cultivate kyanne vardhane karanna, wadanna. So saddha is a wholesome states. Saddha, trust, conviction in the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Shraddhava, tunruvan kere shraddhava vadannata ona. Buddhanusati, Dhammanusati. You need to practice the reflection on the qualities of the Buddha so that your saddha, your faith in the Buddha cultivates. Then the last one is maintain the wholesome states. You need to maintain the wholesome states of mind. So 4 keywords: abandon unwholesome, prevent unwholesome, cultivate wholesome, and maintain. So 4 words: abandon, prevent, cultivate, and maintain. They are called fourfold effort, right effort, right mindfulness, samasati. Samasati, right mindfulness. Mindfulness means simply awareness, attentiveness, or directing our mind wisely. We call it yoniso manasikara. Ape hita, ape siya, hari pattata yomu karaneka, the mindfulness. So there are 4 types of mindfulness we need to practice. We need to put our awareness on the body. If you want to realize the true nature of the body, then we need to put our attention on the body, on our body, not on the bodies of others. Because when we understand the nature of our own body, we understand the bodies of others too. So we call it Kayanupassana. You need to be mindful of the body. And so Buddha gave different methods of meditation to develop the mindfulness of the body. The first one is Anapanasati Bhavana, breath meditation. You sit down in a quiet place, closing your eyes, keeping the body upright. You focus on your breathing. When you breathe in, you simply understand that you are breathing in. When you breathe out, you understand that you are breathing out. And then after some time, you will see that breath changes. Sometimes you breathe long. You understand, oh, I am breathing long. When you breathe out long, you realize that you are breathing out long. So whatever that you are seeing in the breath, it's called mindfulness of the body. That is one technique of practicing mindfulness of the body. Or another one is Chankamana Bhavana, Sakman Bhavana, walking meditation. I'm sure you all practice in your daily life that you become aware, you become mindful of your walking. So you don't walk fast, you don't walk too slow, but you become aware of your steps. So you experience your body mindfully. Then another one is mindful eating. When you have your meal, bhojana, you become aware of eating your food. You contemplate on why you eat the food. So there are many other techniques. Buddha said you should be aware of all the activities, whether you are sitting, whether you are walking, whether you are lying down, eating, drinking, looking around, moving, even going to a toilet. Buddha said you need to be mindful. You need to develop mindfulness of your body. That is called my Kayanupassana. That is one type of mindfulness. The second one is called Vedananupassana. So when you walk, when you sit, when you eat, when you lie down, what do you feel? Vedana is the feeling. You need to understand, you need to be mindful of what you feel. So there are 3 types of feeling. What is that? Happy feeling, sukha vedana. If the food is tasty, then you feel good. You have a good feeling. You say, oh, I enjoyed this meal. Today, bhojana is very delicious, very tasteful, right? Or unhappy feeling, dukkha vedana. If the bhodana is not delicious, then you feel unhappy feeling, right? And then third one is neutral feeling, adukkha sukha vedana, neither painful nor pleasant feeling. So three types of feeling. So you need to be mindful of your feeling, as feeling, happy feeling as happy, unhappy as unhappy, neutral as neutral. So when you be mindful of these feelings, you see the true nature of impermanence, because our feeling changes. One moment you feel good, happy, next moment you feel unhappy, not so happy. So this feeling constantly changes. We call it anicca, impermanence. And so when we be mindful of these feelings, we see impermanent nature, changing nature, so that we do not react blindly. Api blindly react karanne naha. Because our reaction is fueled by greed, hatred, and delusion. When we are mindful of our feeling, we are not trapped by greed, anger, and delusion. We do not accumulate sankhara, or sankhara of craving, aversion, or delusion. Then third type of mindfulness is called Chittanupassana. We need to be mindful of our mind. Ape hita kana sihieng innatona. How do we do that? Right? When we contemplate, when we meditate, we can see our mind. We can see whether our mind is defiled, keleswaling pirilada, or free from defilements, or keleswaling virahitada. So we can see if we do meditation long enough, we can see whether our mind is free from defilement or not. And then we can also see whether our mind is an angry mind or loving mind. Tarahayang yukta hitakta tiyene natam maitri sahagata hitakta tiyene kila. We can see it. We can see what the state of our mind. So like that, whether our mind is deluded or free from delusion, whether our mind is concentrated or unconcentrated. Api hita samadhi kata hitata natang samadhi nati hitagda. We can be mindful if we practice mindfulness of the mind. That is the third type of mindfulness. Then there is the last one, which is called Dhammanupassana, mindfulness of the Dhamma. So we start with mindfulness of the body, observing our body, right? And every activity of this body, you become mindful. And then when you are mindful, you also feel the feeling. What feeling do we get when we do something? Or, for example, eating, walking, drinking? What do we feel? We can be mindful of that, which is the second mindfulness practice. And the third one is the mind, being aware of the mind, whether our mind is filled with negative thoughts, greed, anger, delusion, or free from them, whether our mind is calm or agitated, whether our mind is concentrated or not. We can see all of them. And now the fourth type of mindfulness is called Dhammanupassana. By developing this mindfulness practice, we focus on Dhamma, for example, the Four Noble Truths. So remember earlier we said right understanding means what? To understand the Four Noble Truths is called right understanding. And right understanding requires the contemplation on Dhamma. And the Four Noble Truth is Dhamma. Or the second one is called Sattabojjhanga, the 7 factors of enlightenment. You need to develop awareness on the 7 factors of enlightenment. One is Dhamma Vichaya. Dhamma Vichaya, investigation of Dhamma. Then second one, Viriya, effort. So that is also a factors of enlightenment. So earlier you said right effort. Right effort becomes the factors of enlightenment. Niwan dakinnata awashya bojjhangayak wenawa monada? Effort. Then PT. PT is rapture. Then happiness or joy, or rapture. And then fifth one is concentration. So concentration, Samma Samadhi also becomes the enlightenment factors. And then, so first one is mindfulness. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh is the equanimity, upekha. These are called the 7 factors of enlightenment: mindfulness, investigation of Dhamma, effort, rapture, happiness, joy, concentration, and equanimity. They are called. So you contemplate, you develop mindfulness on these Dhammas. Then the 6 internal or external sense space, salayatana, 6 senses, right? Eye is a 6 eye sense, and whatever you see, object is the external sense spaces. Ayatan dhatu, misaritin ayatan dhatui, and bahir ayatan dhatui. So there are 6 internal, 6 external. Hayak ape sariritinwa, hayak eliyatina lokitino ne. Then 5 aggregates, panchaskandha. You contemplate on the 5 aggregates. That's also mind Dhammanupassana. Then 5 hindrances, panchanivarana. These are called Dhammanupassana. When you contemplate, when you be mindful, when you practice mindfulness on the 4 noble truths, the 7 enlightenment factors, the 6 internal or external sense spaces, 5 aggregates, and 5 hindrances, you are developing Dhamma. You are cultivating Dhamma. So these mindfulness directs our mind towards the Dhamma. Dharmeta namuru karanawa apehita. Then the last one is called right concentration, Samma Samadhi. Samma Samadhi. So it is the development of one-pointedness, chitta ekaggata, which helps to develop the first, second, third, and fourth jhana. These are called the deep states of samadhi. Gamburu, samadhigat, jhana hatara. So when you are in these states of samadhi, your mind is secluded from sense pleasure. Kama asawing torai ape hita samadhigata me jhana wala samadhigata wenakota ape hita secluded. Aing Latin mokenda sensual pleasure. Kama asawing torai our mind is free from unwholesome states. Ape hita akusal waling torai. Piti sukha, joy and spiritual happiness. You experience piti sukha. Remember, the piti sukha is piti is one of the enlightenment factors. Passaddhi is another enlightenment factors. And so you experience equanimity, upekha, that's also enlightenment factors. And your mindfulness, your sihiya, your sati is very strong. Your sampajanya, clearly understanding, clearly seeing. It's like if you go to a lake that is still, you can see underneath. If there are waves on the lake, you cannot see underneath. Rally, where reality and one, move the reality and one, apita pain na palha manada tinikla. So we need to develop a mind that is still. So jhana or concentration means we develop stilled mind, calmed mind. And so concentrated mind is compared to a powerful megawatt light. So wherever you direct that megawatt light, you can see everything clearly. Loku light ka tin wata koi pette api hasuruat apita pain ganno hamadem because it is powerful. So our mind, concentrated mind, samadhi gata hita is compared to a megawatt light, a powerful light that you can see things clearly. See things clearly mean what? Seeing the truth. Seeing the truth as truth. Satya. Satya wasen dakinnata ukulak wenawa me samadhi gata hita. So we need a concentrated mind to experience, to see, to witness the true nature of reality, and that is anicca. To see impermanence, dukkha, that is suffering, anatta, not self. So to see these universal characteristics, we need a samadhi gata hita, concentrated mind. And one who sees these three liberates the mind, frees the mind from all the negative, unwholesome states. So that is the noble eightfold path, the 8 factors of the noble path. And so Buddha said, again and again, you are born and die. Again and again, you are taken to the grave. But one who sees clearly, remember, megawatt light helps to see clearly. Having followed the path, that means the 8 factors, which leads to nirvana. That means the 3rd noble truth does not arise again. That means no more birth, no more becoming, no more bhava. When there is no craving, no clinging, remember, tanha paccaya upadana, upadana paccaya bhavo. So when there is no craving, no clinging, and when there is no clinging, no more birth, no more coming back to the world. So Buddha said, without understanding the 4 noble truths, again and again we born and die. Right? Aneka jati sangsarang. This is the first utterance of the Buddha after becoming the Buddha, he said this verse, Aneka jati sangsarang. I have wandered many lifetimes. I have born and died again and again, not seeing the truth. Not seeing the truth means dukkha, the Four Noble Truths. But one who sees the truth and follows the path leads to the Nibbana. And once you reach Nibbana, no more birth, no more becoming. And that is why we follow the Noble Eightfold Path in our life, so that we can experience the Third Noble Truth and stop bhava. Stop bhava, becoming. Because if we experience bhava, bhava leads to what? Bhava leads to jati. Bhava pachaya jati. Jati pachaya jara maranang soka parideva dukkha domana supayasa sambhavanti. That means if we continue to become, then we born again. And if we are born again, we experience sickness, aging, death, separation from the loved ones, and all the dukkha, all the suffering in life. And so, Noble Eightfold Path is therefore the best path to end the dukkha, to experience Nibbanic peace, Nibbanic happiness. And that is the conclusion of the Four Noble Truths.